NottsRockCast is an association with Regular Riot. Welcome to NottsRockCast, the Notts Alternative Scene podcast. And here is your host, Jethro D, bringing you everything Notts and rock.
Welcome back, Notts Rockers, to NRC-051 over YouTube. Now, running a podcast and having friends, when they turn around and make a joke about wanting to come on the podcast and you go, right, let's do it, let's get drunk and let's do it, you'll hear the result. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell to be notified when more podcasts come out and when the shows start coming out.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the guard's hut underneath the ye old salutation, 21st of December, with Mr. Luke Foster.
Hi guys.
My best friend. And I thought, seeing as we've talked about it, we'd do a special of talking about us.
Yes.
So, Mr. Luke Foster, introduce yourselves and tell us what you do.
Well, as like what Jethro just said, my name is Luke and some people would call me a professional welder. I don't class myself as that. I class myself as a welder because I'm always learning.
Yeah.
I'm employed as a welder and I'm a massive fan on the rock and alternative scene.
Yeah.
And, you know, I live life day by day and...
Just enjoy it then.
Yeah, it's... We never know when... I'm deep right from the start.
Yeah.
We never know when our time is up. So we live life from... I live my life from day to day. I wake up, I go to work, but then on the weekends I come out and, you know, I party, I rock out, and we get drunk. I get drunk with yourself. I get drunk with mutual friends, and you know, it's life's too short to be sat there on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon, be like, ooh, I've got work. Yeah, we've got work, but work funds what we like to do.
Okay, so considering you said that, what's your quote of inspiration to everyone in Nottinghamshire?
Never be afraid of what you want to do.
Yeah?
Yes, it's never think, oh, if I do this, will it offend somebody else, or am I doing the right thing? Fuck all of that. If you think it is right for yourself, then do it.
Cool.
It's simple as that. It's you know, you could be sat there, it's like, ooh, should I go out this afternoon, or should I go to this gig, or should I go to that gig? If you want to do it, do it.
Okay, a question that's not in my podcast questions is, how did we meet? Because my head is now spinning how we met. Well, I know I bought you a drink.
Yes,
but...
I'm glad you said that, Jethro, because we met in the Tap and Tumbler, to me one of the best bars in Nottingham.
Yeah.
And you brought me a pint because the bar was busy and it was like, oh, do you want a pint?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'll have a pint of Foster's. I know it's weak stuff, but it saved me queuing up again.
Yeah.
And then I said to you, I was like, oh, what you having? And he was like, oh no, I'm not buying you a pint to get me a pint back.
Yeah.
And then that was it. We never seen each other for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But the next time you came into the tap, you were stood next to me at the bar. And I said to, I think it was Tommy as the manager then.
Yeah.
I said, can I have a pint of Foster's and 2 Jack and Cokes? And that got put in front of
You rolled
me.
it over whilst my missus was stood there.
Yes, and I'm not going to lie. I got some looks from your missus when I done that, and you went, quote, "Did you really just buy me a drink?" And my reply was, "Told you I'd get you one back."
Cool.
And
that's what Nottingham's about, isn't it?
And you instantly turn around to me and says, "We've just become friends."
Well, we had.
and that wasn't me trying to buy friendship, or it was because you done something good for me when I was in the same situation.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, it's a Friday night, we're in the Tap and Tumbler, it's, you know, we've got Rock City and Rescue Rooms and Stealth across the road, and bands are playing, so the bar is busy, so I thought I'll do a generous thing. And 3 years down the line, history has written itself. We're now sat in, like what you've mentioned, the Caves Guard underneath the Salutation recording this. And
we've just been to a Wetherspoons first thing in the morning to have breakfast.
10:30.
And then we went to Void. You bought a Lamb of God t-shirt and Lamb of God hat. And I was like, well, I need to buy a Death t-shirt.
I also brought a stretcher, don't forget that.
A what?
Ear stretcher.
Oh, yeah. For your ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went to Hopkinson's and Sons and bought a couple of CDs and then had a couple of pints.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
To me, this is what friendship is about. It's... People will turn around and say, "Oh yeah, we'll do this and we'll do that." Whereas today, the only thing that we agreed on, and admittedly, I was a good 20 minutes late. We said we'd meet at 10:30, but I'm a diva. Divas do that. And we met up in the Roebuck, and we had a breakfast. We had a cup of coffee because someone was hungover, guilty.
Oh, were you? I didn't notice.
Yes, and then once the breakfast had turned up, we went and got a few pints, and then, like what you said, we went to Void, brought more clothing, and then it was like, oh, so what should we do now? And quoting, your response to me was, "Oh, well, I really need a piss, so let's go Broadmarsh."
Yeah.
And I says, halfway to Broadmarsh, "Oh, yeah, by the way, the toilets are closed."
Don't tell them about my pissing fucking advent.
No, they've got to know this. They want to hear the story.
All right, okay.
And then the next minute, so then once we've been to Hopkinson's,
Yeah.
we went back to my flat, which is quite close. I'm not going to reveal the exact location.
Yeah, by Hooters.
Titty bar, yes.
Yeah, titty bar.
And that was just a journey to get back in as well, because I didn't have the fob to let me in the door closest to my flat.
Well, anyway, we moved on to the Vat and Fiddle.
Yes.
Which I would suggest going checking out the old Vat and Fiddle and the old Cold Store as well.
See, this is unusual for the guest to ask the host a question.
Go on, do it.
When we agreed to meet up today, I suggested, "Oh, well, have you ever been to Vat and Fiddle?" And you was like, "Oh, well, no." I'm like, "Well, it's a Castle Rock.
Yeah.
Let's go there." And I would just like your opinion on the place. I'm not plugging, I don't work for it.
Oh, no, I enjoyed it. I really did.
It
was awesome.
That was it. It was...
No, literally, like, if you want an old-style pub, that's definitely... Well, traditional, old-style. I'm going to say old-style because it gave off the feeling of a 1960s pub.
Yeah.
And I like that. And my dad likes that. And I wish my dad was with us today because he'd have been down here with us.
Yeah, I wish he would be, but sadly... things got intertwined and...
Okay, come on. Tell us about your profession and what you do.
Well, like I mentioned, I'm a welder, a MIG welder.
Yeah.
And in God's honest truth, the machine does a lot of the work.
Yeah.
But you've got to know how to handle the machine.
Yeah.
And obviously the viewers, the listeners of the podcast can't see it, but I've got scars all
Up and down your hands.
Yes, and I'm currently making stoves. I'm not going to mention the name.
Yeah.
But I'm making wood burner stoves that you have like in a conservatory or like this in this cave, just to put a little bit of heat in. And when I first made one, when I first started this job, Sarah, my now supervisor says, well, you'll be making these. And I looked at one and I says, I won't be able to do that. And then he's shown me all the different parts. And it was, I says, so we're looking at what, 23, 24 pieces minimum? He went, yeah, it's like, but I went for my interview, I went from as a welder, you don't have such an interview, you've got to do a weld.
Yeah.
And just to prove you can weld, and I'd done that, and I said to my supervisor, how long would it be before I heard anything back about if I've got it? He says, oh, it'll be 2 to 3 days. Now, the walk between my workplace and the tram stop is a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
I didn't make half of that journey before I got a phone call saying, when can you start?
Yeah.
And I was quite pleased with that because at this precise moment in time, I was only welding for 2.5 years at this time. And currently been at this company for nearly 2 years. I'm now looking at a supervisor role. When my supervisor retires, my managing director turns around and says, oh, well, let's train Luke up. And my initial reply was, why me? We've had people at this company, you guys have had people here for a good 10, 15 years. Why me? I've been here for less than 2 years and I've only got 4 years experience. And he goes, because you ask questions, you've shown the initiative to learn. And I'm not going to lie to you, Jethro.
Yeah.
When he told me, I cried.
Yeah.
Because I've got no college qualifications. I've never studied this. I went straight into work for a previous company. And then I got sadly laid off, and then I found this company, and they've seen something in me that I didn't see at the time. Now I do.
Yeah.
But it's like what I've said to people about it. I says it's 2.5 years. I mean, I could fuck up. I could still get sacked for and all that lot. But it's now given me something to aim for.
Yeah.
So it's like. Yeah, it's kind of given me a goal.
So we've talked a lot about what it's like to get up every day and just go to work. And that's what you do. And you achieve that every day, even though health and everything. So what would you say to someone that is struggling to get up in the morning when you do?
Well, as somebody who gets up at 4:30 Monday to Friday, it's really hard to do that. But at the end of the day, I look and I think to myself. I look to my partner, and it's like I think, oh, she hasn't got to be up for another 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also thinking, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to work, I'm not bringing an income in, and my main priority is when my alarm goes off at 4:30 in the morning, and it's like, Monday it's fine because I've had the weekend off, I've recharged, but come Wednesday, Thursday, it gets harder, but I think if I don't do this, I won't have this roof over my head.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know homelessness is a big issue at the moment within not only Nottingham but UK.
It's all over the UK, including Scotland, because we've talked about that a few times.
Yeah, it's all over the UK, and I go by the saying is, we are only one paycheck away from being on the streets.
Very true.
So it's like I've got nothing against the homelessness and the rough sleepers and all that lot. But when I wake up in the morning and I was like, oh, I really don't want to do this. But then I think of them and it's like, I think I could have it worse. At least I'm waking up with a roof over my head.
Yeah.
I can go put the heating on and, you know, I can make myself a cup of coffee and then go to work to pay my rent. And the rent is over extortionate, but I'm paying it because, and that's my first priority. I'll go to work 40 hours a week. It doesn't sound like much, but with the hours that we're doing, 6 o'clock until 2 o'clock, some people be like, oh yeah, but you're blessed, you finish at 2 o'clock. And it's like, yeah, but you don't realise.
But it's a physical job all week long, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm manual handling, I'm welding. It's like I'm lifting stuff off pallets and people don't realise when you're lifting stuff on pallets, you're bending, whether you use your legs. Health and safety wise, you should use your legs.
Okay, I'm going to move to the next question.
Okay, that's fine.
What compelled you to be into the alternative scene?
Truthfully, my brother.
Yeah?
Growing up, me and my brother, we shared a bedroom.
Yeah.
I come from a family of, with my mum, living at my mum's, of 5 growing up. And me and my brother, we had to share a room.
Yeah.
And he would listen to bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. And at the start, I would be like, what's the shit you're playing? I don't like this. You can't play this in our bedroom.
Yeah.
But he would anyway. But then I discovered, I'm going to put my hands up here, I went through the emo stage back in the early noughties.
Well,
And
fair enough.
So I listened to...
I put my hands up and say I went through the new metal stage and I loved it. I still do.
So I listened to the bands like Your My Chemical Romance, which was my first ever live band seeing.
Yeah.
And The Used, Hawthorne Heights. But then once I started going to gigs, I was discovering support bands.
Yeah.
Which was the likes of Trivium, Rise to Remain. And it was like, oh, this is what I really feel these. It's not only what are they saying, but what they are showing on the stage. The passion, the love. And one of the quotes with Trivium was the second main headline that I seen, and it was like, there was obviously a rock gig, metal gig. You've got your mosh pits, and there was a little bit of somebody in turmoil when they're in the mosh pit.
Yeah.
And the band halfway through the song it was like, no, stop. Right, you guys, somebody in trouble there. You guys are there to look after yourselves.
Yeah.
You protect yourselves, and not yourselves as in, oh no, I'm protecting me. We're protecting each other. We're a family, and that's what Trivium Matt Heafy said to me in the gig, and I was like, this is what I'm looking for. And so my first gig was emo. My second gig was Trivium. I'm not quite sure what category, but to me categories are bullshit.
I got to agree with you. It's just fucking alternative, isn't it?
To me, it's rock metal or rock and metal, and there's no in between. And so it's like, when he said that to the crowd, not to me personally, because and it was like, no, we look after each other here. It was like, this is what I want to be a part of. So, and it wasn't, I'm following, I'm going to do this because I want to be cool. It was because actually the band that we've paid to see has stopped to show that we've paid for, just to make sure that our safety is number one. And,
well, that's cool.
And it was like, this is home. This is me. This is what I want to represent. And that was my first 2006. Trivium was 2007. We're now in coming up to 2020, and I have never looked back since. But then I'm not also bashing on the other genres. I've also been to the likes of George Ezra for relationship reasons, and I've seen Razorlight, which is indie.
Yeah.
And I
like Razorlight, though, I've got to be honest.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I'm seeing them again in January.
Yeah.
So, but every band of performing artists, fair dues, they're not for my taste or my liking.
Yeah.
But ever since that day with Trivium, it was like, now I know that these guys are on stage just to get a few bucks in the back pocket. They're doing it because it's in the heart. That's what they want to do.
They're doing it like exactly the same reasons why local bands are doing it. Because they enjoy their music, they're progressing to the point where they can earn more money.
Yeah, and yeah, I respect that, because there's obviously there's the bands of, like, correct me if I'm wrong with the pronunciations. There's Witch Tripper. There's
Pemphigoid.
Yeah, and it's
no one can pronounce that right. Pemphigoid. Sorry, Sam.
Sorry, but they're up and coming. They're now just getting into the festival scene.
Yeah.
And it's like a conversation that me and yourself had 2-3 months ago after Bloodstock, when we were sat at the bar at the Sow.
Yeah.
And a woman walked in, and we got in a conversation. It's like, oh yeah, I went to Bloodstock. Sadly, I didn't go, but you did.
Yeah.
And you was like, oh, who was your favourite band seeing? And she was like, oh, well, it has to be Witch Tripper. It's because they are putting so much effort and heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say I'm quite proud, as someone from the alternative scene, to be from a city which is producing so much at this current time, underground music. And they are making it there. I've just named some for a few. But
I've got to be
so
honest,
much
hence
more.
why I've started this podcast, and hence why we're now sat in the caves, in the Sow, 21st of December, not having a drink at the moment, even though we've been saying we're gonna take a break and we're gonna go get a drink, but we're now not drinking because we're sat down here trying to talk about Nottingham from a fan's point of view.
Yeah, and it's like what I've been saying to you. We've been good friends for a long time, and I've always been saying to you jokingly, oh, when you get me on your podcast as a fan point of view, someone who's in the crowd. And to be quite honest, I was joking when I was saying that. But then when you turned around and actually said to me, do you know what, Luke? We're going to do it.
Yeah.
21st of December, the day before you go away, we're going to sit down and we're going to record this. And I shit you not, again, sorry for the language, but...
Don't worry.
But
all podcasts are explicit.
But I actually, my anus came up into my throat, and it's like, oh, he's actually called me up on this.
Of course I would.
So,
it's nice hearing it though.
Yeah,
because even though I talk about you, I've talked about you a few times on the podcast. Like talking about Macmillan Fest. The first time we went together, I lost my shoe. Wow, it was a great evening. We got to see great bands. I think that was the first time you saw Witch Tripper, wasn't it?
Yes, because they play, it's not called this now, it's called Albert's. I'm not plugging, I'm not a promoter or anything. But I just had to get that in. It was called Spanky's Van Dyke's then. And I came up, because I also was meant to see other bands like Centurion, which is Nottingham Underground. Yeah. But I missed those, and I just randomly bumped into him, and he was like, oh, look what you're doing. I'm like, oh, well, Wolves Don't Sleep are playing in Rock City Basement, which is now called the Beta. And he was like, oh, yeah, but Witch Tripper's on before these. Let's go see him. I'm like, I haven't seen him, but yeah, fuck it, let's go. And so we went to Spanky's, when it was called that at the time. And then the thing that stuck out for me for that gig was I think he's left now, but the drummer at the time, he played his heart out that he actually broke his snare. And then he had to do the rest of the gig without a snare.
Yeah.
But the band never picked up, and they never turned round and it was like, the fuck, dude. It was just they carried on without the snare. And
I don't remember that, but wow.
He broke his drum kit and he looked up and it's like, obviously when you're in a band you've got your music coming back from your speakers and
monitors.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're the engineer, not me. Sound engineer, not me.
You're the first person to say so.
Well, I know how passionate it is for you, but I noticed it because of the band's reaction.
Yeah.
But it was never, oh, dude, you're a dick for doing that. Because to me, that shows passion. He broke his drum doing what he loves.
But then he carried on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't, oh no, we've got to cut short. It was, he tried to do what he could do without that certain set of his instrument.
Okay, dude. What hurdles have you personally faced and how have you overcome them to be in the alternative scene?
So is that up and coming on the alternative scene?
Well, just what hurdles have you personally faced to keep going out every night as a fan?
Well, that's a really good question. And the biggest hurdle is obviously money-wise.
Yeah.
It's like, nothing against the bands that come or play, because obviously the underground scene is quite cheap. The most I've ever paid for an underground is about £15-20.
Yeah.
But with the mainstream bands, it's like, I've mentioned it tonight, why we've been out over in the navigation. It's like Knotfest.
Yeah.
Knotfest is coming over to the UK for the first time ever. And it's
which
like,
we've both seen, and I'm still reserved for a I want to go or not.
And I know someone who's bought tickets for that. I think they've got like some like O2 priority or something.
Yeah.
And like what I said to you, it's like, oh yeah, it's about £100 a ticket, and it's like, as somebody in Nottingham, yeah, that is kind of cheap. But then you've also got to think of travelling down to Milton Keynes, and then you've got to think of your food, you've got to think of where you're staying, because as we all know, if you're going out of city to watch a rock band, metal band, you're not coming home that night.
No.
So, you know, you're either going to get drunk and have a good time, not essentially at the gig, but then afterwards you're going to go out for a few beers and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, with Knotfest, I was really interested in that until I seen it was just £100 for a ticket. And I get these guys, they've got to make a living. But
they've not only got to make a living for themselves, they have to pay the live engineers, they got to pay the floor staff, they got to pay the venue. I understand that, but it's still quite a lot to see a couple of bands for the whole day.
And
I'm just going to play devil's advocate on both sides.
Yeah, and I respect you for that, but it's like, don't get me wrong, sadly I never got tickets to see Slipknot in Nottingham Motorpoint Arena this year.
Yeah.
And with the Behemoth as well, I didn't get tickets, but the price that they was offering £35-40 for the headline tour. So just because it's a well-known festival, I don't understand why it's been
hyped up, much.
Jumped up, and then it's like, oh yeah, well the tickets are this at the moment, just with confirmed Slipknot. I would rather wait to see who the other bands are, because it's.
I've got to be honest, I'm excited for 2020 Bloodstock. And that'll cost you £150 or thereabouts. Obviously, including fees.
See, Jethro, I would, if I didn't know you, I would turn around and say that you are actually a promoter for Bloodstock. because the amount of times that you've tried to get me there, and sadly I can't go there. I would love to go.
I wish Bloodstock were paying me for being a promoter of Bloodstock. Rob?
It's like I've seen. Obviously, you're a battle jacket guy.
Yeah.
I've seen Bloodstock patches on you. And,
No, I haven't got one Bloodstock battle patch
well, I
on me.
must have been drunk that night.
Well, you've always been drunk throughout the whole of our friendship.
Well, that's what our friendship is based off. But it's
My
like,
wife told us we should take a hobby and go play golf.
And my reply to that was, yeah, that's cool because most golf clubs has got a bar.
Cool.
But like I was saying, Jethro, it's like with Bloodstock, I could get, a day ticket?
Yeah.
Or how much is a day ticket?
I don't know. All I know is a weekend camping ticket's about 160 quid.
And this is my point.
Which you're doing this year. Whether you like it or not, I'm dragging you
sadly,
there.
I can't because I've got Edinburgh this year.
No, don't care.
Told you
Don't
this.
care.
But,
No.
Okay then.
No, you're going to Edinburgh.
No
I
promises.
understand.
No promises,
don't care. Don't
But
care.
it's like what I
You
said.
don't
it's
love
like
me!
If you can get a 3-day camping ticket for Bloodstock, which to me is one of the best UK festivals because it's still original. They have so many unassigned bands.
Yeah.
I mean, Nottingham, Sheffield, London, they do metal to the masses.
Yeah.
So that's a band. It's like Battle of the Bands, but they play at Bloodstock, the winner. And that's what it needs. It's not like Download, where Download has come a little bit mainstream, where they're getting the same acts. I mean, Kiss has headlined it out of 3 of the past 5 years. Don't quote me on that. But it's like, and they're charging a good £200-300 for a camping ticket.
Yeah.
So if I could pay 150, 160 go Bloodstock for the weekend and camp, I'm not going to pay about £90, £100 just for a day festival, just because it's a certain band.
Anyway, let's stop ratting on shit. Let's go and take a break.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Let's listen to a local band, and then let's get back to this.
Yeah, that's sweet.
It's not just a new year, it's a new decade.
It's a new dawn, it's a new year, it's a new decade.
All right. Right, welcome back to the second half with Mr. Luke Foster.
So,
And I just want to start this. New decade, new year. And I want to say absolutely thank you to the Salutation, because they've not only sponsored me the whole year for taking over their snug, they also said anytime I like I can use the caves. But I haven't had that many people that I've needed to overtake the caves, and tonight has been the first night I've sat in the caves and recorded a podcast. And I'm glad I've been able to share it with my best friend.
yeah, it's been... I'm glad I'm your first for this.
You're my virgin.
Yeah, I'm glad I've took your virginity for this, but I'd also like to thank you and the Salutation for giving us this opportunity to do this in the caves.
Yeah.
Because obviously the caves is a part of Nottingham's history.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I was down here, it was on my 30th birthday where Jethro came out for my 30th. It was a Sunday. We couldn't get drunk, but I had the money off, so I did. And
As you always do.
Yeah, and Jethro gave us a personal tour of the caves we are now sat in. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. So if you're ever in the Salutation and they've got the time, ask to see the caves, and you'll get a little bit of brief history of, I'd say, 0.1 or 2% of the Nottingham's history.
And if you ever see me in the Salutation and I'm not drunk, please ask to see the caves.
That's very rare.
Jay has said I can take people down here, like I have done tonight.
And like I said, on my 30th, when I turned up with a good group of 6 or 7 of us, all celebrating my birthday, and we had a Sunday roast in the cell, which is amazing, by the way. And then
Craig, Jake,
yeah,
Lenny, whatever you want to call yourself, really good roasts.
Yeah, literally, it's to be honest, the first I chose this place for the roast because it's a bar and it's mutual for a lot of us.
Yeah.
And I was actually astounded by the food in this place. It was so much when we done NRC 50,
yeah,
which was the live recording, plug that I know this is going out afterwards.
Which you asked the question on.
It's like me and my other half, we came here, we got here a good hour and a half before NRC kicked off, kicked off, just so we could have a Sunday
Audience
roast.
attended.
Pardon?
Audience attended.
Yeah, audience attended, where the audience had asked the questions.
So, let's kick off with the questions. What do you love and enjoy about Notts geographically, not so much the alternative scene?
Ooh, geographically, that is a really tough question. I would have to say, going away from the geographically, we've got the Nottingham Castle, which is there, which a lot of people confuse that is not the original Sheriff of Nottingham's house.
Yeah.
That got destroyed.
Yeah.
And they rebuilt this, what we now call Nottingham Castle.
Yeah.
It's and they host a lot of artwork.
Yeah.
And it's like when me and my partner Catherine started to date, we was like, okay, our very first date.
Yeah.
I'm away from Nottingham Castle. We went to a place called Woollerton Hall.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realise this, but Woollerton Hall is known worldwide, thank you to the Christopher Nolan's Batman franchise.
Yeah.
Because they use Woollerton Hall as Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
And I took Catherine to this place, Woollerton Hall, and she was like, do you know what, Luke? I never realised in the heart of the city, because it's in between Woollerton, Bilborough, Aspley, Broxtor, City Centre, Radford, Lenton.
Yeah.
We've got this big, we've got a manor house, and then there's a good 4 or 5 miles of lake, trees, forests, and it's a deer reserve.
Yeah.
And I even said to her, I says, I'm actually quite proud of this, because you think in the middle of the city centre life, we've got this nice place where we can come and we can take a picnic. They've got cafes there. They've got the Woollerton Hall, which is free to enter, but they do ask for a donation, but they don't force it. And that's just to keep up the maintain. So
a bit like if you come down to the caves in the south, they do ask for a donation when you leave.
Which
I'll always explain to people. Like I said, I will always happy to take people down here if they see me and they want to come down for a guided tour. I'm more than happy to do it. Jay is happy for me to do it. Jay is probably the best person to ask to come down here because he'll tell you everything. There's stuff I don't even know that Jay has told other people.
I agree with that. And even the caves that we're sat in right now, is what a lot of people don't realise is Nottingham was built on caves.
Yeah.
So it's like excuse me, I've just burped. I'm
not cutting that.
in the Broadmarsh Centre, which is currently being done up, there's still shops open, but we've got the caves. And I've done a tour there, and I never realised once I was underground, and I piped up, and I was like, oh, so whereabouts roughly in Nottingham are we? Nottingham city centre.
Yeah.
Because Nottingham is a big city. Yeah. It says, whereabouts in the city centre are we? And it says, oh, well, we're actually underneath the Broadmarsh Centre, going towards the train station. I'm like, well, I actually didn't think we'd walked that far.
Yeah.
And he says, well, yeah, we are literally to the Bat and Fiddle, where we started our journey today. It was like, no way, I haven't even walked that far. But yeah, if you walk from the Broadmarsh to the Bat and Fiddle, obviously on street level, you go in crossing roads and you're turning corners. You don't understand the magnitude of what these caves are, and it's like we've got tanning booths back from the 1800s up near, I don't know, London Road way.
Yeah,
but
they're more tanning leather with dog shit.
The tanning leather. People would literally stand on the sides and piss in them, and they put dog shit in them. But it was only once I actually got down there wearing it, because
not lights and I look like Jordan.
It's like when I first went into the Nottingham caves in Broadmarsh, I was a labourer at the time, not a welder. I was like, you've got to wear a hard hat. But come on, I do this 6 days a week. I really don't want to. But I did. But I was educated to the history of Nottingham, and as somebody who was born and raised in Nottingham, that was quite, I don't know the word, that was quite, not humble, but that was quite proud to know that there was these caves underneath, and it's like my ancestors and possibly millions more of ancestors all worked in these caves, because there was functioning. That there wasn't. Yeah, they served as bomb shelters, and we've had the honour of kings being in it. But it was like me sat where I am now. I'm quite proud knowing that potentially somebody from my ancestors was sat in the same spot. Maybe not drinking a pint and doing a podcast, but that they were sat here. Yeah. So geographically, I'd have to say I'm most probably proud of the caves, because there's so much history here.
Right, I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question. A person gets off a train or bus, then checks into their hotel, then goes to the bar you're at and asks you, I've never been to Nottingham before. Where is the one place you suggest I check out next?
See, with that question, I wouldn't give a place directly. If I was to give a direct question, direct answer, it would be the Tap and Tumbler.
Yeah,
but
that's exactly what I thought you'd say.
But I wouldn't give an answer directly. I would ask them, what are they into? What do they like? And if it says, oh, I like my rock music, I would say, oh, well, to me, the best bar in Nottingham is the Tap and Tumbler. Yeah. But then there's also the old Salutation Inn, there's the Navigation, there's Foreman's.
Which we went to today.
There's Pit and Pendulum. But then if it says, oh, well, I want to see the cultural side of Nottingham, I say, well, then what you want to do is you want to go to Nottingham Castle, you want to go to Galleries of Justice. Yeah. And Woollerton Hall, which I've just mentioned, and
where is the one place you would tell everyone, do not leave Nottingham without visiting this place?
That is a tough question.
That is what I'm after with that question. And I need to reword it better, and considering this is the start of the new decade, I'm going to reword it better for every podcast henceforward.
Me personally, it would have to be the square.
The square?
The square. The council has...
Two lions.
Obviously we've got the left lion, right lion. And the reason that is it's because I spent a lot of the majority of my youth in the square.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it's changed since I was a youth.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the heart of Nottingham. You're not in 10-minute walk maximum from something that you like. You've got the Nottingham Castle, which is a 10-minute walk. You've got the Salutation, which is a 5-minute walk. You've got the Tap and Tumbler. You've got the other places. You've got squares.
Foreman's, the Angel.
Not even.
You've got the Galleries of Justice, like you said before.
Not even the Foreman's and the Angels. You've got squares. You've got
the Vic Centre.
Slug and Letters. Yeah, you got the Vic Centre, which is a brilliant. A lot of people commute to Nottingham to do the Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
As a Nottingham resident, it's fucking annoying, but they're funding our. It is, because when we want to go out and buy something,
we're going to get a bratwurst after this.
Pardon?
We're going to get a bratwurst after this. Yeah, cool.
But it's like, it's not just the rock and alternative places. You've got to me, Nottingham is diverse. So to me, it depends what you're looking for. If you want chart music for a night out, you go to Squares, you go to Bar Blah, you go to Slug and
Retro
Letters.
Lounge, is that still
Retro
open?
Rooms.
Oh, Retro Rooms, is that still open?
No, sadly that is closed. So,
I used to love that.
So me too. There's a place up, you know where Bar Snaps used to be?
Yeah.
Next door is Retro Rooms.
Yeah.
I used to go in there on a Friday night because it was playing 90s cheese pop.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff I grew up on. But
There you go.
In between the ages of 8 to like 15, it was. So yeah, to me it depends what you're looking for. If I was to say, me personally, I'd say you want the Tap and Tumbler, you want the Sal, because that's where I go. But I would also ask, so what are you looking for?
Fair enough. And you asked me to tell you when you were rambling.
Yes.
Right, you're rambling.
I'll shut up then.
So your next question is, what's your most treasured musical object? And it doesn't have to be an instrument.
To be honest, and this is going to sound very, very cliche, my very first gig, My Chemical Romance,
Yeah?
it was on the Black Parade album tour, 2007, and after everybody knows the song, Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yeah.
Well, after that song, on the album, there's a song called I Don't Love You.
Yeah.
But at the end of the Black Parade, they shot black and white confetti from the stage over the crowd, and I managed to grab a few pieces. So when the song I Don't Love You played, it's like snowing black and white confetti. That. Because...
Oh, wow.
Because, as cliche as that sounds, it was because it was my first gig.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. And at the time when I seen them, Welcome to the Black Parade was one of the biggest alternative songs, not metal.
That's really cool.
And so once these confetti cannons shot over the crowd at my first gig, I was amazed. And I made sure, I've actually got my ticket.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 pieces of the confetti.
Yeah. But they're in the ticket.
In this picture frame.
Oh, cool.
And that is my most... And that was my introduction to live music, live
See,
gigs.
I've never asked this question, and we've known each other for about 2 odd years. Wow.
It's like, look at me, I'm wearing a Lamb of God t-shirt, I've got a Lamb of God hat, I bought a Lamb of God t-shirt, but one of my fondest memories is from an emo band, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I really hope they announce a UK tour next year.
Fair enough. So, considering you said Lamb of God, what's your most influential band or artist?
Well, it would have to be, obviously, Lamb of God. I really wish you could see me now. Like I've just said, I've got a Lamb of God t-shirt, a Lamb of God hat. I know
We even went to Void today, and he bought the hat, and he bought another t-shirt.
My 4th t-shirt and the hat of Lamb of God. But it's not because... you know, they're one of these bands where they related to me the most.
Yeah.
It was, if you listen to songs like Ghost Walking, a lot of people would hear the lyrics, but what they don't understand is that song is about heroin addiction. I mean, I've never been addicted to heroin.
Nor have I, thankfully.
But I can relate because I've been addicted to other things. Some people will say I'm addicted to alcohol.
Our partners say we're both addicted to alcohol.
But so...
My wife told us we should go and play mini golf today.
Yeah, and...
but we're sat here doing a podcast.
See, to me, mini golf is the kind of the game that me and Catherine will go and play, my partner, on a date night. It's not a hobby, it's me and her time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to say the band that has influenced me the most is Lamb of God. You've got the songs like Ruin, which is one of the most underrated songs ever. Yeah. If you watch the music video, it's like they're in a Mexican church chapel. Yeah. And they introduce Lamb of God. But they don't realise they've booked, obviously, a heavy metal band. They've just seen, because obviously Lamb of God is a reference.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that now.
And then
it was a church that
and then the next minute,
they're Lamb of God. Let's book them because we're Christian. This sounds like a Christian band.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I apologise, NottsRockCast, if I've got my information wrong. But Lamb of God is also quoted in the Bible, but it might be, it might not be. I can't be 100%. Yeah. So people think, I mean, don't get me wrong, Randy Blythe, Matt Morton and all that, they are Christians. Yeah. So when I say, oh yeah, they are Christians, and then also there's Christian rock band, I'm like, no, they're not. They're like a groove metal, heavy metal. But Ruin, the music video for that song, I felt that because it was... we'll book this band because it's a biblical reference. Yeah. But it was only once they started playing, people realised where it was, it's not what we expected. No. And I swear by that. When people look at me, you'll be like, he's intelligent, he's smart, blowing my own trumpet a little bit, yes, but this is what I've only been told. But then once they get to know
you are the nicest person that I know of.
Well, stop sucking my dick, but...
Fuck off!
but this is what I mean. It's like you look at me and you think, this guy is something else. But then you get to know me and you get to know the real me, which is what you're seeing in front of me. A long-haired, ponytail, glasses wearing welder. And they're like, I never expected that side of you. And that's because you already had your expectation.
Luke, what are you excited about in the next 6 months? Lamb of God.
This is going. You've already answered that question, Jethro. I know I'm wanking Lamb of God off quite a lot here. But the reason that Jethro knew that question is because
we're friends.
It's like I've been wanting to see Lamb of God for the past 10 years. Yeah. And obviously, like what I said to Jethro, the last few times that I wanted to see him, sadly, Randy got arrested for manslaughter. Yeah. And no names. But then when they came back to Nottingham, I lent a friend some money, but I had first refusals for a ticket. But I lent the friend a substantial amount of money, and then I got the refusal, and it's like, I've just lent all this money out, so sadly I can't have it because otherwise I'd be short for the rest of the month. And this
is why I like you as a friend, because you're willing to go above and beyond to help everyone else and put off what you want to do to help others. I mean, and hence why you're on the podcast today, and we're just sat in this caves of the salutation, chatting shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was like after I refused this ticket because I couldn't afford it because I helped a said friend, I learnt that the drummer, Matt Morton, had left the band, and I was like, fuck, I can't see
Yeah.
Lamb of God with Matt anymore.
Yeah.
But then they announced a tour, and I said to our Catherine, it was like, Catherine, we're getting tickets. We
Yeah.
are going. And NottsRockCast, you'll be pleased to hear, the tickets are safely in a drawer,
Yeah.
and I'm going next April to see Lamb of God.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, they're
Which day of April?
it is a Friday. That's all I can give you. I don't know the date.
Oh, right, okay.
Not
the 12th.
It's Birmingham.
Not the 12th.
I'll have a look.
No, don't worry.
No, let me get my camera.
No, don't worry. Ah.
No, it's like what I said to you earlier. I've got the screenshot saved
This
on
is
my
going to be
phone.
the most funniest podcast I've done yet.
24th of April.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because 12 days earlier, I need help.
That's fine.
Anyway, I'm just going to pitch in on my own.
That's fine,
Buff.
yeah.
So, Monday,
This Monday
coming, 10 years I've been in Nottingham. Shire.
Congrats. Hopefully you haven't got no regrets or...
Well, I'm still doing the podcast, aren't I?
Yeah, it's like what I was saying to you.
And next year's going to be fucking awesome. I'm going to make sure, push out more, push the boat more.
Yeah, it's like what I said to you, Jethro. It's like, as somebody born and bred in Nottingham, I look at the scene where it's like, nah, it's Nottingham. So I've been travelling this past year. We've been going up, me and Catherine, we're going up and down the country.
Yeah. Catherine's your partner.
Yeah, Catherine's the better.
Just in case anyone didn't get that.
Catherine's the better half of me. She keeps me in shape. So
Yeah.
when I say in shape, I'm not ripped. It's like she tells me when I'm in the wrong and I've had too much when I'm with Jethro. Just like Gemma does. But then it's
My wife.
Yes. But then it's like, as somebody born and bred from Nottingham, I see it as meh. So it's like I've been to Manchester, I've been Sheffield, I've been Birmingham, looking for what people is looking for, what they find in Nottingham, what I can't see.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to quote one of your previous podcasts.
Yeah.
And the comment was, it's like Nottingham is like the Sunset Strip, but better.
Yeah. Leon.
Yeah. But whereas to me, it's like, I look at Nottingham and I'm like, and then I look at the Sunstrip, I'm like, you're shitting me. You've got the likes of Guns N' Roses, you've had all these bands come up in the late 80s, early 90s in the Sunset Strip. But then it's like, I only realised, because we're climatised to that scene, when we go somewhere else, and it's like, wow, I never really knew this existed outside of... So then it's like when I've come back and I'm going to put my hand up. I've only been a regular in the South for the past year. And that was because I realised once going out of Nottingham, like when I went to Sheffield, I've got nothing against Sheffield if any Sheffield listeners are listening. Yeah. But I struggled to find a good rock bar, where it's like the bar that I found, that it wasn't mediocre, but
It's like I talked to you about Leeds. When I watched Slayer in Leeds, I literally could not find anywhere that was willing to accept alternatives.
Yeah.
And when I walked into one bar with a load of us that were going to go watch Slayer, the bouncer, once I'd been in there for 15 minutes, said, dude, you need to take your cut, is that what it's called? If you're in a biker group?
I don't know what it's called.
I'm like, what cut? And he's like, what you wearing? And I'm like, you mean my battle jacket? And he's like, well, that sounds even fucking ruder. And I'm like, well,
See,
I'm just wearing the bands that I love.
Yeah.
I've come to watch a band that I like, and we ended up in the Wetherspoons. I really enjoyed it.
This is why I said to you yesterday when you messaged me, what was the plan? I said, I don't mind what the plan is, Jethro, just not a Spoons.
Well, we still ended up for breakfast in a Spoons.
And I've got
the Roebuck is awesome.
I've got to admit, I didn't feel judged in there.
No, it was good.
And it was a good breakfast as well for what we paid.
Yeah.
But it was...
Cold.
Well, yeah, because I was stood at the bar for 10 minutes.
Well, you were.
But it's like... But then, this is my point I'm trying to get across. It's like, you know the alternative scene, we get judged quite a lot. But then...
You do, because you're not normal.
Exactly, but then the alternative scene, including myself, I'd done it yesterday.
Can I ask you? Finish.
Just like myself yesterday, yes, the alternative scene gets judged a lot, but it's like what I said to you yesterday. Oh yeah, we'll meet anywhere for breakfast, apart from Spoons. That was me being judgmental of the people.
Yeah.
Of the people in Spoons. That's because the Spoons that I've been in has been full of wankers, basically.
Yeah.
So I've tarred every establishment by one brush. And like today, I've been proved wrong. We went there.
Told you the Roebuck's nice.
We had no issue.
Roebuck.
Same thing. We had a breakfast, and so. But what was the question?
The question I was going to ask.
Yes. Always stumped.
Can you define normal?
No.
Okay. I'll finish on this.
Can I just say...
All right, you finish.
No, can I just say why I can't define normal?
Why?
Because there's no such thing as normal.
Cool.
What I class as normal is different to somebody else from what they class as normal.
Cool.
So...
Can I explain what I think is normal?
Feel free, it's your podcast.
Normal is... No, it's not my podcast, it's everyone's podcast. But what I define as normal is what one person has said and no one else is willing to disagree with. He's thinking.
No, I wouldn't.
He's thinking.
I wouldn't exactly say that because what I class as normal is me.
No, when someone says to you, you're not normal, it's because one person has said, this is normal, and no one else has have the bravery to disagree.
And this is why I say there's no such thing as normality, because, as you see, we're both on the rock metal scene. Normality to me is pair of Converse, ripped jeans, Lamb of God t-shirt, Lamb of God hat. Whereas your normality is you're there in your boots, you've got your black trousers.
Well, they're
on.
Trainers.
Yeah. and then you've got your battle jacket on. Where to me, a battle jacket is.
And with Sophie hoodie.
And Sophie, I've got a Sophie
give
wristband.
to Sophie.
I've got a Sophie wristband.
Yeah.
But yeah, is it ching ching
Sophie.
But it's like
This is what I like. Coming down here and talking to you.
You see, what I define as normal isn't normal to you. It's like normal to you is battle jacket and patches. Whereas me, that's not my thing. My thing is t-shirt, hat, coat.
Even though, I've got to be honest, even though we're best friends, I kept thinking to myself, should I buy him a denim jacket that he can abuse and use for Christmas? Even though I don't do Christmas, but we're best friends. And I was like, should I buy him one of these things? And I thought to myself, well, no, because he doesn't wear one.
Exactly.
But would you wear one if I bought one? I don't know.
No.
Hence why I don't do Christmas.
Right. Straight up answer to that. No.
Cool.
Because...
So I did the right thing.
I'm not a battle jacket wearer. I've got my what's the word?
Generic
Coat there that keeps me warm. What is underneath that coat is
a whole lot of Luke.
My band t-shirts, so it's like if I felt like today, if I was to wear a battle jacket, I'd feel like I was imposing on the battle. Because to me, growing up, the age difference.
There's no age difference.
No, but to me, with the battle jacket, there is. To me, that was like your Iron Maiden, your Black Sabbath.
Cool.
Days, whereas me, I'm more metalcore, your Lamb of God, your Parkway Drives. Yeah, nothing against the people that my age who want to do the battle jackets, but personally, it's not for me. It's like, I've got my references.
Well, I did the right thing.
Yes.
There we go. Right, Luke.
Well, it's like what I said to you earlier on, and I'm going to get this on tape.
Go on, do it. I like the way you said tape.
The best thing that I asked for you for Christmas, and you delivered it, mate.
What?
Was your time. So.
What did I ask you for Christmas?
So, thank you.
Your time.
So, thank you very much, Jethro, for giving me the opportunity.
Bollocks to real physical shit. We had each other's time.
Exactly.
I loved it.
I mean, it's like what I said to you earlier. Oh, I contemplated buying you a present, and then I thought, well, no, I'm not going to, because, quite frankly, you're like me. Don't buy him clothes, because I don't like
clothes are personal.
I don't like people buying
clothes are personal.
Yeah, it's better than
don't you ever buy me clothes.
It's like, I'm not going to buy him a bottle of whiskey, because, quite frankly...
You can always buy me a bottle. Anyone listening, if you want to get in my good books, buy me a bottle of whiskey.
But yeah,
sorry, I'm joking.
But to me,
you can still get on the podcast without buying it.
I've never bought him a bottle of whiskey. I bought him a Jack Daniels or something, but that's it. But I felt like today. I even said to Catherine last night. I feel like I should buy Jethro something because he's been there for me.
Why?
Because it's like a sign of appreciation.
You don't need to buy me anything.
But then it's like what I said to you earlier on this afternoon when we was in the navigation and I was kicking your ass at pool. It was.
What do you mean kicking my ass at pool?
Well, I beat you 2-1. But it's like what I said to you there. I said
only because you gave in.
I said the best thing that I can give you is my time.
Yeah.
And that is it. It's like, I'd buy you a bottle of whiskey or I'd buy you 12 cans of beers. All you're going to get is a headache the next morning. Whereas,
I don't need that.
Whereas, like today, once this podcast is finished, which I'm guessing is quite soon...
I need to ask you one more question.
Fire away.
No, you finish what you got to say.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like... The thing that the best I've found recently, the best thing that I can give people that I really care about is my time. Because
I agree.
Because it's like when I was young and naive, and I'm laying. Sometimes I will lay in bed on a Saturday where it's like, no, I'm hungover. I'm going to watch film. This is me.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like, well, no, actually, maybe such and such needs my time. And my time doesn't cost anything. So that's the best gift that I can give to somebody. But then saying that...
I love that.
But then saying...
I need to ask you the last question.
But then saying that, I will only gift my time to the people who appreciate my time. Now you can fire away.
What makes the Notts alternative scene great for you?
That's a really good question. I can't pronounce the word. Acceptance.
Acceptance?
Yes.
Okay.
And not only for us alternative people or rockers or mods or... To me, categories are bullshit.
Hells Angels, bikers.
Yeah, to me,
whatever.
Categories are bullshit. The bars that I drink in, which we've mentioned, the Salutation, the Tap and Tumbler, Foreman's, Pit and Pendulum, the Navigation.
Yeah.
It's no matter who walks through the door, you are instantly accepted until you show us that basically you're a dick. So
nice.
It's like, I mean, I'm going to put my hands up now. 2-3 years ago, I was watching. There was an underground band from Sheffield. That was called Go Primitive. They're not around now. Well, they are. They're called No Escape now. Evade Escape, sorry.
Yeah.
They've changed singers. But I first seen those in the Tap and Tumbler, and I was there with a friend, and we had an arsehole there who was coming up to all the women, getting a bit personal.
Yeah.
So in the Tap and Tumbler, as everyone knows, there's no but doorman or anything. But it's like I picked up on it, and a lot of other people picked up on it. So it was like, no, come on, you're being a dick. It's like I'm going to use the reference. This is our bar, but it's not our bar.
No.
This is our local. I think will be a better word.
Yeah.
But you're more than welcome to come. And it's just like me, if I was to go in there, say tomorrow,
yeah,
or Monday, Tuesday, or next Friday, and I'm a dick, I know everyone, including yourself, will be like, no, Luke, you're being a fucking dick.
Yeah.
Go away. Come back another day once you're sober or you realise what you've done.
Yeah.
So, to me, the alternative scene is very accepting to everybody, no matter what walks of life they are. As me coming from the family that I am, I've got one other alternative in my family, and I come from siblings. I've got 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
It's very accepting, but it's very. We won't tolerate.
Yeah, it's
arseholes. That's what you're trying to get at.
It's basically we'll trust everyone, but
until proven guilty.
But once that trust is gone, there's no getting it back.
No.
And to me, that's how a community should be.
Yeah.
So and sadly, I still feel that the alternative scene is still the minority of. I think minority might be the wrong word. So
I think it's a very apt word.
But we're still the minority of the community, not only city-wise but nationwide.
Well, we just have to look at this evening, right? We've had to come down to the caves because the salutation is now full. So anyway, what was your answer to what makes the alternative scene great?
We accept anybody on the alternative scene, no matter what walk of life you are.
Until proven.
That you're a dick and you betray our trust.
Luke, thank you for this evening.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you for the whole of the day.
But I would also like to put my final say in it.
Good.
People of the NottsRockCast, never feel like that everything that you want to achieve is out of reach. Everything is always in reach, and you go get them for those bastards. So,
thank you very much, Luke.
Thank you very much, Notts Rockers, for listening to NottsRockCast over YouTube. If you would like to check us out on your favourite podcast player, please search NottsRockCast. And don't forget, if you're on social media platforms, give us a like, give us a share. You'll find us at NottsRockCast. Anyway, till next time, keep it Notts, keep it rocks.
NottsRockCast is an association with Regular Riot. Welcome to NottsRockCast, the Notts Alternative Scene podcast. And here is your host, Jethro D, bringing you everything Notts and Rock.